SUNS, Linkin Park's fourth studio album, which has become quite the point of controversy music-wise among the fanbase. Some people love it, some people hate it. I personally like it quite a lot, but let me know what you think in the comments section. Maybe even drop your own personal ranking of the album if you want to. Now, to clear up some possible confusion, it's important to mention that I will not be including the 6 interlude or intro tracks in this ranking, but I will mention some of them when discussing the full-length songs they're connected to. With that said, here is my ranking of SUNS. Okay, hear me out. Yes, the lyrics in this song are beautiful, but that's it. I'm pretty sure the messenger is literally just Chester and his guitar, so the vocals are most of the sound and they just don't do it for me. Like, I love you, Chester, but the song ain't for me personally. It's very emotional in every aspect. The ability Chester has to convey such emotion in his singing is better than almost anyone we've ever seen. The main thing holding the messenger back is that the vocals feel a bit unnecessarily screamy, especially with only an acoustic guitar in the background. One of my least favorites, I'm sorry to say. Robot Boy has been one of the most difficult Linkin Park songs for me to form an opinion of. Honestly, I feel different about this track almost every time I listen to it. There are many redeeming qualities, such as the nice harmonies and the well-developed atmosphere that raise the floor quite a bit. My personal favorite part is the ending, where the instruments are just buzzing everywhere while Chester screams and Mike sings in the background. There are some significant drawbacks, though. It's just too slow. There's no real energy present throughout most of the runtime. That weird synth solo at about 3 minutes also feels like a lazier replacement for what could have been a nice chill guitar solo. The opening of the track is really boring too. It takes a whole minute for the vocals to even get started, which could normally be remedied by more energy, which Robot Boy doesn't have. The lyrics probably saved the song though, they're really nice. Overall, Robot Boy's not bad. It can even hit pretty hard on occasion, but it's just not much of my style, personally. Blackout is a very weird song, I'm not gonna lie. It opens with this marching band beat and piano, which I don't love, honestly. The verses are decent. I do like the transitions from the verses to the chorus. The chorus, I would say, is pretty nice, despite the lack of cohesion between the scream singing and the backing instrumentals. My personal favorite part of this track, though, is the bridge, if you can call it a bridge, I'm not really sure. Hey, I'm just saying, the dubstep kinda goes hard. I was a Geometry Dash kid, after all. A lot of people seem to hate this part, but I really like it. Blackout would definitely be moved down to a 6.5 at least without it. The last nearly 2 minutes of this track, though, are super forgettable. I would have loved to see more of a continuation of the darker tone the bridge took on through the rest of the runtime, but no, it just has to turn soft. I honestly wouldn't care if the song ended after the dubstep, but the rest isn't terrible, just not good, and it's pretty forgettable. In conclusion, Blackout has its ups and downs, and I wouldn't understand if you don't like it. Iridescent is another song that's climbed its way up the Linkin Park ladder a bit for me recently. When I first listened to SUNS, I honestly didn't like the album at all. There were only 2 or 3 songs that I really liked, and the rest I thought were too mainstream or just bad. As time went on, however, I've come to love many of the tracks from this album way more, including this one. Iridescent is one of Linkin Park's most beautiful songs in my opinion, both lyrically and sonically. The lyrics hold this message of unwavering hope, that even when everything around you or within you feels lost, you still have a chance to bounce back and let go of your dark past. The instrumentals are just great as well. The piano is great at pacing the song, making it easy to tell what part of the song you're listening to. The piano is much more front and center in the first half of the song, of course, as more instruments come in later on. The drums work amazingly as well, especially during the last minute and a half of the runtime. They're subtle yet effective in providing energy when it's needed, and obviously the vocals and vocal harmonies are top-notch. Chester and Mike's different parts in the chorus feeling like alternative moods because of the difference in pitch. Just to cover more ground, I love the transition between this track and the preceding interlude, Wisdom, Justice, and Love, which kind of warms up the piano after its hiatus during Wretches and Kings. Iridescent at its best could probably make its way up to at least the top 5. The only reason it's so low is because how I feel about it at any given time is entirely based on the mood I'm already in. But yeah, beautiful song. The first time I listened to When They Come For Me, I didn't like it at all. I was like Jack Black from School of Rock saying, "That's bad, that's like George of the Jungle." Yeah, I thought this song was some kind of bad theme song for Wild Kratts with cussing and rapping for some reason. It also has that weird singing that sounds like what some random Egyptian person would be randomly singing in the background in an old Disney movie. Stereotypes. I don't know why I didn't like this song back then, because the verses and chorus are honestly super catchy, and the combination of the rapping and heavy bass are done really well. When They Come For Me feels almost like an odd overgrown version of Wretches and Kings, if that makes sense. I love the reference to points of authority as well. The only thing keeping this song from being higher on the list is the bridge. I have the same complaints with it as I did with the bridge in Blackout. It just feels super watered down, and while I do understand why the song goes in the direction sonically when combined with these lyrics, I'm just not a fan of it. This track would definitely be lower, maybe even below Iridescent if not for the final 30 or so seconds, where the bass and singing from before come back in. I haven't been able to decide whether it warrants a 7 or a 7.5, so I just decided to put it in the middle. But overall, it's a very nice song. Burning in the Skies is the first full-length track of A Thousand Suns. In my opinion, it does a good job of introducing the album, as its message of self-reflection and facing consequences gives the listener a look at what the rest of the album is about. My favorite line is, "The blame is mine alone for bridges I have burned, so don't apologize, I'm losing what I don't deserve," in the last chorus. The whole message of the song can be in line with yourself or society, or both for that matter. The duality of A Thousand Suns when it comes to personal versus societal meanings is done masterfully, allowing each track to exist either within or outside the album's concept. The only other album I've listened to that's executed that kind of duality as well as A Thousand Suns has is The Black Parade by My Chemical Romance, which happens to be my favorite album of all time. Back to the song though, Burning in the Skies has a nice chill atmosphere, but it also kinda rocks, especially the guitar solo. The chorus is super catchy, and the end of the last chorus is just beautiful with its harmonies. I also enjoy the stark contrast between this track and the following one, When They Come For Me. Those two tracks' placement next to each other, not including empty spaces, was a smart way to calm the worries of first-time listeners who feared that Linkin Park was going too soft based on Burning in the Skies. The Catalyst, if I'm not mistaken, was the first single released from A Thousand Suns before the album came out officially. I've always liked this song, I mean it's hard not to. Despite the lack of guitar, the Catalyst still rocks. The combination of the drum beat and the electronic riff we're playing in the background bring this energy that continues to build throughout the first half of the runtime. Some of the lyrics from previous tracks also reappear during the Catalyst. The famous "God bless us everyone" lines from Requiem are also a part of the chorus here. Here's a fun fact. The words in the interlude Jornada del Muerto translate into "Lift me up, let me go," which are featured in the bridge of this song. Additionally, I should probably mention the interlude right before the Catalyst, which is Fallout. Fallout features lyrics from the chorus of Burning in the Skies. There are a lot of really cool callbacks to other tracks in this album, as you can see. My only gripe with the Catalyst is its bridge, if you can call it a bridge. The song structure is very odd, but I think you can more or less tell what I mean. The bridge here does the same thing as When They Come For Me, calming the instrumentals while Chester repeatedly sings some line. I'm personally not a big fan of this, but luckily the chorus comes back in to lead to the end of the track. The Catalyst is very first half heavy quality-wise, but is still one of the best of A Thousand Suns. I don't know how on earth I didn't like this song at some point in time. Waiting for the End lyrically is one of Linkin Park's finest. The transitions between the rapping and the singing are seamless, and the harmonies throughout are just incredible. Similarly to When They Come For Me, the first time I listened to this song I thought it was a bit too George of the Jungle-ish. And admittedly the rapping verses do kind of give off that vibe, but it's not necessarily a bad thing looking back. While I usually prefer heavier music, Waiting for the End has the perfect balance of elements to redeem it. I honestly love the rapping, especially at the end where Mike's rapping and Chester is singing. The ending is one of my favorite parts of any Linkin Park song. The sheer mastery of the harmonies in the song is on full display. Even the very slow sections don't feel boring, but peaceful instead. Of course, the bridge is very nice, both the rapping and the instrumental section after that. The lyrics are just amazing, of course. Some of the most emotional and hard-hitting lines Linkin Park have ever made are featured in this track. Overall, Waiting for the End is one of the band's most beautiful pieces of music ever. At number 1, I have Wretches and Kings, which may come as a surprise to some of you, and honestly, it surprises me too. This isn't usually much of my music taste, but the sort of arrogant and pompous tone both Mike and Chester use throughout this track when combined with the heavy bass is super addictive. These are some of Mike's best lines, both in delivery and content. The message of an oppressive government is right in line with the rest of the album, and I could be wrong about this, but it kind of feels like another anti-Bush message. I don't know anything about past politics, but considering the obvious anti-Bush feelings from Minutes to Midnight, the previous album, I think it's pretty safe to say this song continues that theme. Wretches and Kings is probably the catchiest track on this album. Basically every part is extremely addictive and the replay value is off the charts. This is the only track that I really loved initially my first time listening to A Thousand Suns. It just goes hard, there's no better way to really describe it. The from the front to the back and the side to side part always warrants headbanging as well. The integration of the speech from Mario Savio, hopefully I said that right, is a very underrated aspect of this song I haven't seen many people talk about. It's used at the beginning and also near the end, but with the beat and other supporting instrumentals. After that, the bass just smacks down, boom, and the turntables are just shredding into the end of the track. I feel like this was the last time we really got to see Johan do his thing, which is sad, but it's a good last major hurrah. Wretches and Kings, amazing song. Good job, guys. There you have it, my very rushed and on-the-fly review of A Thousand Suns. I've been excited to talk about this album for a while now. It's grown on me more than every other Linkin Park album, and while it's still not my favorite by them, I feel like one day it could reach the top 3 or 4. The absence of any real elite songs definitely hurts its case, but A Thousand Suns is still a very respectable and underrated album. The quality is pretty consistent, except for the messenger, and people should definitely talk about this album way more. I hope you enjoyed this video at least slightly. If you did, please consider sticking around for more Linkin Park and music content in the near future. I have 4 more Linkin Park related videos coming out within the next couple months, which I'm really excited to work on. I also put a list of more bands I plan to make videos about in the description, so if you see one of your favorites, maybe stick around. Thank you so much for watching, and have a nice day, guys.